Okay. Greetings, travelers. Welcome once again to Bible Study Devotional BMX Flatland Learning, where we learn more of the wisdoms of God's Word, as well as the mysteries that entail into the realm of Flatland BMX. I will say what's a little weird about Flatland BMX is that there are a ton of tricks, like literally a ton of them, without any how-tos, and it's kind of strange. It's a little strange, and a lot of tricks you have to learn other tricks just to get into the other trick. So it's interesting. It's like figuring out a living puzzle. And there's so many combos. That's what I really like about Flatland, is there's just combo after combo after combo after combo. Okay, anyway, we're gonna get into the Bible study. Not really sure what we're gonna get into today. I kind of want to have it a little bit. We've been kind of getting into some serious topics lately, right? I mean, in terms of emotional states, anxiety, uncertainty. Man, that stuff gets pretty deep, huh? So I think today we're going to kind of make it a little bit more, hopefully a little bit more lighthearted, maybe into more of the mysterious aspect. And we're actually going to go into, I don't think I've actually done a Bible study on the thing of Ezekiel's wheel. No, actually, I don't think it's really referred exactly as Ezekiel's wheel. I think it's mostly referred to the wheel of the four living creatures. And as this kind of an overview, and as far as I've remembered it, the four living creatures are supposedly the creatures, I think, closest to God's throne. And these four living creatures are closest to God's throne. And what's weird about these four living creatures is I'm pretty sure there was a time where I did a little illustration of it, but it is said to have a face of a man, a face of a lion, a face of an ox, and a face of an eagle on four sides. It's very odd. And let's see if I can remember it. I think they have 6 wings. I think they have some wings that go up and they hide their hands behind the wings, and then they have feet of burnished bronze or something like that. And about the wheels, I think as memory serves me right, I think the wheels have eyes all around it, and the wheels they shift around or something like that. They move around, and for some odd reason, I don't know why it's written as it is, but if take it with a grain of salt. We're gonna read the passage. I'm just trying to relay what I've remembered, without really looking at anything, right? So and then what's also mentioned is that the spirit of the four living creatures are actually within the wheels. Very, very mysterious. And this is some Old Testament. This is from the book of Ezekiel, right? So let's get into it. I'm going to see if the stream is working, and we're going to test the audio. And then maybe we could get a little bit deeper into some of the commentaries of Ezekiel's wheels. Now, I have seen many people actually bring up Ezekiel's visions or whatever, right? Actually, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people that aren't really even in the faith, they're not even interested in the faith at all. I've actually seen, from my observations, is that there's this aura of mystery, they're actually intrigued about Ezekiel, right? And I find that very, very interesting. And I wonder if you guys, I'm wondering what other believers have observed, because that's personally what I've observed. You bring up the four living creatures, and what's weird about the four living creatures is I think there's some confusion about the four living creatures, because the four living creatures, some say, oh, well, those were the angels or whatever, right? Now, I'm not completely sure if the four living creatures are actually angels. I actually don't think they are angels. I think the four living creatures are a whole other paradigm of creature, of, something like that. And yeah, let's get into it. So let's look up, should we look up the four living creatures, or should we look up Ezekiel's wheel? Let's look up Ezekiel's wheel. Now, the other thing about Ezekiel's wheel, now take this with a huge grain of salt, a very big grain of salt, is that I have read some believers, literally, some believers think this actually, is that, the UFO phenomena going around, actually since the, I don't know when UFOs first started getting noticed or whatever, but you know how they've always mentioned UFOs as this strange disc shape, What's weird is that even today, this is the strangest part, right? Is that even today, people are saying that they see the unidentified flying objects, and they see them as circles, as and it's just odd, right? And sometimes I wonder, could it possibly be, have any sort of relevance to Ezekiel's wheels, right? What I find strange, if I look a little deeper into Ezekiel's wheels, is how it's mentioned that there are eyeballs on the wheels itself, right? Almost as if, why would there need to be eyeballs on some sort of set of wheels, right? Well, maybe it's to observe people, right? Maybe to observe humanity, maybe to observe us, right? And what's weird, and now I'm not really now this is like my own little commentary thing of it, right? We're gonna get into it. This is my own relay of what I'm thinking about when I hear this stuff, right? And what's also strange is I've also heard this from other people that are other believers that read parts of Revelations and parts of the Old Testament about prophecies and stuff like this, right? And in some cases, I've heard some people say that when some of these prophecies that are supposedly to happen, sometimes they are written in a way that when it was written in their time period, it made sense to them, right? Like, say, a wheel, right? It's so strange just thinking about that, right? Ezekiel saw wheels in the sky just flying around, right? Now, I think in most cases, if you were to take that into the modern era, you'd be like, well, that's not a wheel. That's a wheel shape, but is it really a wheel, right? It's kind of strange, right? By the way, I think that, actually, I think we have done a little bit of a Bible study, because I do remember, I think we did a Bible study on Ezekiel many, many moons ago, and I looked up Ezekiel bike shop, and I think there's actually a bike shop. It's called Ezekiel's Wheels, which is hilarious, right? I think that would be an awesome bike part to have. Just some rims with some eyeballs on it or something. Okay, let's see here. So we're looking up Ezekiel's Wheels. Ezekiel's Wheels commentary? Let's look up that. So we're going to look up Ezekiel's Wheel commentary. Let's see if anything comes up. We might have to change topics. Maybe something doesn't come up. Okay, well, the first thing that comes up is Bible study tools. Should we read that one? I haven't read that one, so we have Bible study tools, we have crosswalk, we have got questions, we have Christianity.com, Bible study, enduring word. I mean, in all honesty, the best, if you really, really want to get in, it's good to just, if you can, it takes a lot of time, but you could just read every single one and then come to a conclusion, which I think that is probably the best way to probably go about doing it. But how much time you have, how much time you can allot to do that stuff, it kind of seems like most people don't even want to read a single verse a day. So, most people, it seems like they don't even want to read a single verse a day, let alone, all these commentaries. But hopefully how we can view it is that we can get deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is why I don't really care anymore if I just keep going into the same verse, because, man, there's been some verses, and I don't know why, but we just keep, keep eating from it, right? We're just and I think most people would be like, dude, why are you bringing up this verse again, bro? You brought that up like 30 times. Well, the thing is, I don't know why. Well, maybe there's an aspect to it of, well, what's weird about it is it's not like I'm reading the very same commentaries, right? There's always some new commentaries, a new thing that I haven't found or something, or just some and how they combo it out, or how they relate it to today's age or back in the day or something. And I find that always very interesting, right? And the other reason why I don't really mind looking up and studying same verses over and over again is because sometimes I feel it even helps to make things more concrete in my own mind about, because I feel like for me personally, a lot of words, man, like so many words, like so many things I even read. I bet even a lot of these commentaries I read, bro, they go in one ear and out the other. Like, I'm just that type of person. Like, I really honestly wish I could read something one time and I just like, boom, okay, I remember it forever, right? But I am not like that. I don't really know. That'd be actually interesting if there was a study on that. How many people can just read something one time and they just, boom, they just remember it forever, right? Because I feel like that is not me. I feel like I have to like fully like really, really want to learn it, and I have to keep doing it and just like keep trying to ultimately, I guess, maybe meditate on it, right? Which Psalms 1 brings up, which David brings up about meditating on the laws of the Lord day and night, right? Anyway, let's see here. I guess let's go into the very first, let's go into Bible study tools. Let's see what this says. Now this is actually strange. This is the very first commentary, and that is the illustration that they have for that for this commentary. Most commentaries actually don't have any sort of illustration to it, though I think that should be one of the. I mean, if this illustration, there should be 4 of these creatures. That's one of them, I guess, right? But you can see the face of the eagle right there, the face of the man, the face of the lion, the face of the ox, and then the wings, the cloven hooves, I think, that are supposed to be like burnished. Oh, and then here's the wheel. Look and see, there's eyeballs on the wheels, right? And these are supposedly in the sky. Very, very odd, right? Very strange to think of. Okay, let's start reading this commentary on Bible study tools. Wherever the Spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirits of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirits of the living creatures was in the wheels. Ezekiel 1:20 through 21. Now, what's weird, now this is my own hypothesis, and I know I say take it with a grain of salt a lot of times, but you really should, because I have looked it up and there's not any other commentaries I've ever found that even mention anything of this. But to me personally, I have come to the conclusion, because viewing, getting deeper into illustration, learning about drawing and painting, right? You see a lot of the old Christian artwork, right? And the halo is always depicted in many, many times, many instances. And you think, and some people go, oh, well, it's only Christ that has the halo, right? But that's not always the case. There's actually been many, many other instances where other things have the halo, right? And now we did look up a commentary on the halo itself, and they say, it's maybe it could represent some sort of transfiguration. Some say the story of Moses comes up. Moses, when he comes back and people couldn't look at him, because he's been transfixed and people couldn't, look at him because he was like close to God or something like that. Or the instance of the Lord Jesus Christ where he goes up to the mountain, I think with John and James, I think I got that wrong. It might be Peter or somebody. But they go up there and then they see the spirit of Elijah, I think, is it? And something happens, and I think the Lord's robes become iridescent or something like that, right? And now this is what some of the commentaries say, that this is why they depict halos, which is strange, right? Because when I read those stories, none of those stories, to me personally, they never go into, oh, well, there is a circular disc that is hanging above that person's head, right? Well, the thing is that this is what made me think about Ezekiel's wheels, right? Because we just read Ezekiel 1:20 through 21, and how Ezekiel 1 through 21, it says, let's read this last sentence again. The wheels were, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels, right? Now, this is actually something I don't hear any pastors ever mention. I've never heard, out of all the sermons I've ever heard, I've never heard one pastor bring this up, right? Now, I've never heard a pastor bring up that there's actually more like good spirits, right? Like holy spirits, right? Well, maybe not, I guess I wouldn't say holy spirits, right? But I've never heard a pastor bring up saying that there is actually a spirit of the four living creatures that reside along with God, right? Because mostly when people bring up the spirit, you think of the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, right? But I never hear that there's actually four other different spirits called the spirit of the four living creatures, right? And supposedly the spirit of the four living creatures resides in the wheels, right? So sometimes I wonder, do these halos that we see depicted in so much of the artwork, do you think that maybe it could potentially be something about Ezekiel's wheels, about maybe maybe something about the spirit of the four living creatures, right? I don't know, right? I'm not too sure. I've tried to look up commentaries. I don't think I may have asked some questions. I've asked so many questions on the internet now that I can't even really remember the ones I've really asked. I think I may have asked a question, but I didn't really get many answers on it. But to me personally, when I think of some sort of cylindrical disc and a halo, I can't help but think that Ezekiel's wheels can maybe somehow be correlated with that, right? Who knows though? So I don't know. That's my own little take on it. Anyway, let's see here. Bible story of Ezekiel's wheel. The Bible story of Ezekiel's wheel features a vision of four wheels that illustrate the spiritual divine essence of God and his omnipresence in our reality. This story is predominantly found in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel as part of an inaugural vision. God approaches Ezekiel as the divine warrior, riding in his battle chariot. The chariot is drawn by four living creatures, each having four faces, those of a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. And four wings besides each living creature is a wheel within a wheel, with tall and awesome rims full of eyes all around. God appoints Ezekiel as a prophet and as a watchman in Israel. Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites. GotQuestions.org summarized this Bible story as Ezekiel's vision of the four wheels dramatically illustrates the omnipresence and omniscience of God. These wheels were associated with the four living creatures, Ezekiel 1:4, who were later described, Ezekiel 10:5 through 20, as cherubim, angelic beings appointed as guardians of the holiness of God. So I guess they are angelic beings, right? They are, I guess, cherubim. I guess maybe there might be... See, now this is the odd part, right? Because I'm wondering if there has to be some sort of hierarchy within the angelic order, right? Because if we think about Hebrews, is it 12:2 or 13:2? I think it might be Hebrews 13:2. Let's see. Let me just see if I got it right. I think it's Hebrews 13:2. Something about in Hebrews. I think it's Hebrews 13:2. They go into something about entertaining angels unawares, right? And so if we think about that, we think about Ezekiel's, the cherubim, right? And how these are just these magnificent beings that it's almost like something out of like a RPG game or something, right? It's like something so even crazier than that, right? It's like, and then we think about, okay, so we just opened up to Hebrews 13:2, and it says, Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware, right? So in some cases, right, if we have to think that we can be showing hospitality and entertaining angels unawares, well, maybe that's a different level of angel. And then what's also strange is if you look up like illustrations and, stuff like this of Michael, the archangel Michael, right, is that he doesn't look like a cherubim-ish thing, like with like four faces and all this stuff, right? Michael's always depicted as, almost kind of like a person that looks kind of like a man, right? Very interesting, right? Anyway, so yeah, let's continue onward. The spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. As a result, the creatures were able to move in any direction the wheels moved. Most biblical scholars hold the idea that the Spirit of God gave direction to the wheels through direct knowledge of the access to the will of God. The mobility of the wheels suggests the omnipresence of God. His eyes, his omniscience, and the elevated positions, his omnipotence. Is that the... Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're actually bringing up a lot of different commentaries for Ezekiel's wheel. So this one says, Ezekiel's wheel, Bible commentary. According to Matthew Henry's Bible commentary, the wheels of Ezekiel are symbolic of God's divine providence. Interesting, huh? Divine providence. Doesn't that mean provision? God's divine providence? Okay, let's see here. Divine providence represented by the wheels produces changes. Sometimes one of the spoke of the wheel is uppermost, sometimes another. But the motion of the wheel is on its own axle tree, is regular and steady. We need not depend in adversity. The wheels are turning round and will raise us in due time. While those who presume in prosperity know not how soon they may be cast down, the wheel is near the living creatures. That was a strange sentence. The wheel is near the living creatures. The angels are employed as ministers of God's providence. The spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. The same wisdom, power, and holiness of God that guide and govern the angels, by them order all events in this lower world. The wheel had four faces, denoting that the providence of God exerts itself in all parts. Look every way upon the wheel of providence. It has a face toward you. Their appearance and work were as a wheel in the middle of a wheel. The disposal of providence seems to us dark, perplexed, and unaccountable, yet are all wisely ordered for the best. The motion of these wheels was steady, regular, and consistent. They went as the Spirit directed. Therefore, returned not. We should not have to undo that by repentance which we have done amiss if we followed the guidance of the Spirit. The rings or rims of the wheels were so vast that they put in motion the prophet, that when put in motion, the prophet was afraid to look upon them. The consideration of the height and depth of God's counsel should awe us. They were full of eyes all around about. The motion of the providence are all directed by infinite wisdom. All events are determined by the eyes of the Lord, which are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. That's actually... Now, take that with a very big grain of salt. This is Matthew Henry's commentary, because I will say, some believers get really tripped out when they see eyes. They go, is this some sort of, what's that? There's some sort of underground, I don't even know what it's, something with the eyeball, they always think, oh, all these people are, with the eyeball. Well, the thing about it is that there's actually many verses about eyeballs, and that's why I'm going to say, take that sentence that I just read. That is Matthew Henry's commentary, right? Let's just read it again. The motion of providence are all directed by infinite wisdom. All events are determined by the eyes of the Lord, which are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Now, actually, I think that actually might even be a Bible verse. Now, it's weird that he doesn't bring that up. Let's actually see if that's actually a verse. Can I highlight this? Let's look up that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it uses the word eyes though, right? So I don't know about that, right? So let's just see if that's actually a verse, right? Oh wow, it is actually a verse. Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. That's actually very strange now to think about it. Because what's also strange is there's this one pastor and he said, because it's actually the verse I always bring up. It's literally the verse I always bring up that everybody probably knows I bring up because I bring it up so many times. And it's Matthew 5:13 or 5:16. Let's look at that one. Matthew 5:16. Or yeah. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and gives light to all in the house. In the same way, yet let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Now, see, there was this one pastor, and he did bring up something along this lines, right? He did bring up this thing about, well, if we really think that God is keeping watch and has eyes and watching over us in some degree, would you find that interesting? And then would that make you less afraid to just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to let my light shine? If God's already watching everything, we might as well just let our light shine, right? So it's like that's the whole thing about Matthew 16, right? And it's also strange because I'm actually wondering, because I think some believers might get really tripped out. They'd be like, well, I don't want to get watched all the time, right? Like all this stuff like this. But then you think about, well, what about Proverbs 15:3, right? And it's just like, but honestly, God wants us to shine before others, right? And I will also note that our works don't offer us salvation, right? We cannot work for our salvation. But the thing about our faith is, as we have a little mustard seed of faith that was planted in us from other believers, or maybe potentially the Lord himself, as we grow, we start growing and growing and growing. And what does a plant do? It starts producing little leaves, right? And a little shoot plant cannot bear any fruit, right? Cannot produce a fruit. I guess maybe if it was cultivated in such a way as almost like a bonsai tree, because a bonsai tree can actually produce a fruit as a little thing, but it's from many, that's a whole nother thing, right? But it can still do it, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of care and manipulation and stuff like that. But the thing about plants is that as we grow, we start growing more and more leaves, right? More and more leaves, and then hopefully, just like the parable of the sower, the end of the parable of the sower, it says that we are to become like trees, so that the birds of the air make nests in our branches, right? Huh. Man, that one just even trips me out right there, thinking about that, right? And just thinking about that, let's actually just bring that verse up now. Think about it. That's Matthew 13. Okay, right here. It says, "It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches." And that's Matthew 13:32, right? And the thing about trees, right, is that trees produce fruit, right? And what does fruits do? Fruits produce seeds, right? And what's weird, actually, now I read this verse right here, it says, this one kind of trips me out right here. When it is grown, it is larger than all the garden plants, and so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. It kind of almost makes me think something about potentially maybe even the four living creatures or something like that, right? Because, the four living creatures are in the air, so. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at here? So that's actually a very strange one to think, right? Thinking about like eyes and stuff like that, because I know some believers get really tripped out about that. But when I see like the eye symbols and stuff like that, I personally just think of like, well, God's just watching everything to some degree, right? So it's like, is that wrong? Is this Proverbs 15:3 wrong, or is it just, I don't know, right? Okay, anyway. "For there is no such thing as chance or fortune. The firmament above us was a crystal, glorious but terribly so that which we take to be a dark cloud is to God clear as crystal, though which he looks upon all the inhabitants of the earth. When the angels have roused a careless world, they let down their wings, that God's voice might be plainly heard. The voice of the providence is to open men's ears to the voice of the word. Sounds on earth should awaken our attention to the voice from heaven. For how shall we escape if we turn away from him that speaks from thence? Ezekiel 1. Okay, and then they bring up Ezekiel 1. Interesting. Wow, there's a lot. There are a ton of Bible commentaries on Ezekiel. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so we're going to kind of have... Now, here's the weird thing, right? We're going to go on a little offshoot. Now, take this offshoot. I don't know if anything's even... I know actually some stuff's going to come up, because I haven't looked it up really, but I saw it on some sites. But we're gonna look up an offshoot of like Ezekiel's wheels UFO or something like that, right? Let's see what comes up, right? Let's just see. Now, I don't really know if I truly believe that, because I've never really seen a UFO, or I don't think. Maybe I have. I don't know, really. I honestly don't know, but let's just see. Let's see what comes up here. Let's see here. So I typed in Ezekiel's wheels UFO. Okay, this is, what's this site called? This is Gaia.com. We're just gonna kind of quickly go into it, okay? Let's just see what they bring up, right? Of the many accounts in the Bible of strange happenings and otherworldly occurrences, the story of Ezekiel is one of the most fascinating, especially when looked at through the lens of modern technology. When biblical texts are interpreted through this perspective in general, an interesting picture emerges of a possibility of our ancient ancestors were actually visited by an advanced race. This idea, known as the ancient astronaut theory, sees Ezekiel's vision of the Makraba, or wheeled chariots, as more likely to be a spaceship or a space shuttle used by advanced species to reach out to humans. Now that's hilarious. That's just such a strange thing to think about, right? But honestly, it's probably just angels, providing a very compelling argument. Rich von Duyken is one of the biggest proponents of this theory, providing a very compelling argument for an alternative interpretation of the book of Ezekiel. So compelling that the theory even reversed the entire thesis of a NASA scientist's book aimed at disproving his claim. Okay, let's see here. Eric von Duyken's chariots. In 1970s, Eric Von was invited to a secret speech at NASA where he met Joseph F. Blomberg. The two spoke about von Duyken's ancient astronaut theory from his book. Okay, let's see here. Oh, wow, this is actually a really long commentary. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see here. Ezekiel is a key figure in Judaism and also prominent in other Abrahamic biblical texts. Ezekiel was brought to Babylon in the first captivity of Israel and described as a prophet. One of the interesting characteristics of the book of Ezekiel as a biblical text is that it is written using the pronoun I, clearly showing it is being written by Ezekiel himself as a first-person account. Now that's interesting. I have actually never realized that. It's so strange. You see, what's weird about sometimes reading into and looking into other things. Now, see, we looked up something about UFO things around Ezekiel, right? Take it with a big grain of salt, right? But sometimes it's a little fun to do, right? Sometimes like, what are these people? Why are they going so deep into that, right? It's interesting when you look up some things and people just go so deep into certain things. Now, what's also strange is that out of all the commentaries I've ever read about Ezekiel, none of the commentaries I've actually ever said that. And this isn't even anything really about a UFO thing. This is about like literally using the pronoun of I. That Ezekiel himself, it was a first-person account from Ezekiel, right? And I find that very interesting, right? Okay, unlike many biblical texts written in the third person, this seems to lend a little more credit and personality to the story as it is told shortly after its occurrence. Ezekiel describes seeing a wheeled chariot descend toward him in the sky, piloted. They use the word piloted. That's funny. Piloted by beings with the likeness of a man. While many biblical versions of the story describe this being on the chariots, points out that original Hebrew version never mentions God. This word was added later. Ezekiel's description of the wheeled chariot landed sounds such like that of landing of a spacecraft. The windstorm, flashing of lightning, the brilliant lights are reminiscent of spacecraft coming down from a landing and kicking up dirt in a spectacle never before seen by someone of such a primitive era. Ezekiel even describes the fire powering the chariot as appearing as glowing metal. Okay, now they bring up Ezekiel 1, so we will read Ezekiel 1. I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning, and surrounded by brilliant lights. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight. Their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings, and the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. And this is man, that's a very strange illustration. It's so strange seeing the illustration. So this is actually the illustration that they're using of that one. Very interesting one, huh? There is clearly some discrepancy between this description and much of the way Ezekiel's vision is portrayed in biblical artwork. Pictures often leave out the details involving the fire, omnidirectional wheels, and the vaulted crystal encasing over the heads of the human-like creatures. That's very strange. Man, this is actually strange. And that, he does bring up a very good point. Isn't that strange? A lot of the biblical artwork really doesn't really go into all the other details of it, right? That's actually it's a very interesting observation. Okay, back into Ezekiel 1. This is from 15 to 22. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz. Huh. That really is strange to think about right there, because a lot of the things that people are... Now, I'm not even going to talk about it, but if you look into it, okay, a lot of things, it's like, I don't know. Take it what you will, okay. Let's just continue reading this. I've forgotten about that. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creature faced. The wheels did not change direction as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. Spreading out above the heads of the living creatures was what looked something like a vault, sparkling like crystal and awesome. Just sounds so interesting, huh? It's so crazy to think about. These creatures with the likeness of man then take Ezekiel with them in their craft, bringing him into a temple on top of the highest mountain. During his flight there, Ezekiel mentions feeling the hand of God on him, which could be interpreted as a force gravity or G-forces felt when lifting off. He is taken to these beings, which is likely a staging area or city where they reside. Huh. Well, that was from that guy, so take that with a very big grain of salt. But I think if there's anything that I've learned from that was written in the pronoun of I, right? I haven't heard any commentary bring up that instance, and I guess the instance of sparkling like topaz. and how maybe the observations of when we see the artwork of Ezekiel, they leave out many descriptions of it, right? Probably because it's just hard to draw, to be honest, but, you know. Let's see here. Man, there's some crazy commentaries on this. Is Ezekiel's vision of the wheels evidence of UFOs in the Bible? Holy moly. There's actually a lot of, it's actually crazy. There's actually a lot of, there's a lot of commentaries on that. Where I'm not, like, we could go deeper into it, but I think we're going to leave it as that, okay? We're going to leave it as so. You could, if you want to do your own due diligence and studying, you can go deeper into it, right? But also, you know, there is something I will add in. This is not something that any of the commentaries even said at all for some odd reason. But if we go into Revelations, okay, so we were in Ezekiel 1. If you have your Bibles, you can travel to Revelations. So let's go to Revelations. Now, these are some verses that I've thought about many, many times. And it was weird because something occurred to me what was very, very strange about the four horsemen, right? So you have your Bibles. Let us go into Revelations 5. Let's read, no. It's Revelation 6. Revelation 6 through 1 through 8, I think. Let's read it. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the seven seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures say, with a voice like thunder, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that the people should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a black horse, and its rider had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the four living creatures say, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death. And Hades followed him, and they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by the wild beasts of the earth. And when he opened the seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God, and for the witness they had borne. Man, isn't that gnarly? Anyway, thinking about the study of the four living creatures that we just did about Ezekiel's wheels, right? Because the Ezekiel's wheels accompany the four living creatures, right? I find it strange that this is actually one of those things that carries over into the New Testament, into the New Covenant per se as well, right? Ezekiel 1 into the New Covenant of Revelations and stuff like that, right? And what's weird, I've actually never really I don't know. Here, you got to take Revelations with a very, very I keep saying big grain of salt, but also because, a lot of pastors, it seems like for me personally, I feel like a lot of pastors don't, I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like a lot of believers don't even like Revelations because of how it's written, I know some believers are I've even heard some believers say that I've literally read this in comments saying that some believers actually wish that Revelations wasn't even in the Bible. Can you imagine that there are believers out there that say that they could, some say they could do away with it, but for some reason it's in here, right? So take it as you will, right? But the one thing I will mention that's strange about Revelation 6 is Revelation 6, 5 through 6, about particularly the black horseman, right? And what's strange about this is that I always, when I read Revelation 6, at first, right, I actually didn't really realize that the four living creatures mentioned in Revelation 6 that were actually the four living creatures are actually summoning. Maybe not summoning, but they're saying, come, like come forth, right? Like it is your time or something like that, right? Maybe, potentially, maybe. I don't know why they say that, but they're basically saying, I mean, I don't know where they were beforehand, but they say, now it is, I don't really know why, but, well, I guess it's because the Lamb opens the seals, and the Lamb's the only one that can open the seals. And what's weird about it, though, is that in Revelations 5 through 6, it's actually Revelation 6:6, it says, and I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine, right? It's so strange because if you actually look this up right here, you look up what oil means in Revelation 6:6. Some people have said, oh, it means anointing oil. Oh, it means olive oil, right? But it's weird because they never really, like, why wouldn't they just say that, right? Why did they have to just use the word oil itself, right? And what's also strange is that this verse, now I've talked about it previously many times on stream, but this verse right here, Revelation 6:6, about the four living creatures telling us not to harm the oil and the wine. What's strange about it is I got a little bit more intrigued about it, right? And I looked up you can look it up on Google, right? I mean, on YouTube right now. Look up documentaries, what happens if oil runs out or something like that, right? I've watched like maybe 4 or 5 documentaries, and what's always mentioned about these documentaries is something about food, the food industry, farming, agriculture, right? Because within our agriculture of our modern society right now, we use so much oil just to transport food, just to farm food, just to even like produce the food, right? We use so much oil for that, right? But what's weird about Revelation 6:6 is that it says it literally says the four living creatures saying a quart of wheat for a denarius and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. Now I actually did a Bible study on that, right? What does that mean? What does it mean, a quart of wheat for a denarius and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius? What is a denarius, right? So in terms of what a denarius was, if I remember correctly, is a denarius was basically a day's wage, right? And so what these four living creatures are saying, potentially, take this with a very big grain of salt, this is what I think, is that if this is correct, where it says where the four living creatures are saying a quart of wheat for a denarius and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, right? And do not harm the oil and the wine. Are they saying that food prices are going to just skyrocket to the point where you're going to have a day's wage and it's only going to allow you to buy a little bit of food? Isn't that crazy to think about? And it's weird because now this is kind of something that actually happens, but when things happen with oil, it actually increases food prices, right? And so in some cases, if you read Revelation 6:6 and you read it in the eyes of almost like modern society, you go, what in the world, bro? Like, that is just eerie. Like, that is eerie. And it's weird because the four living creatures are literally saying, let me just read it again. And I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine. It's almost like, can you only imagine the four living creatures warning humanity? They've warned humanity so long ago of what maybe things would occur. But the thing is that I feel like sometimes like we can't notice what, sometimes we're so oblivious to the fact that maybe God may have pre-warned humanity, but we're just like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. Let's just keep going about it. It's like, oh, it's nothing. Let's just keep going, But the thing is sometimes I wonder, did God pre-warn humanity what was to occur, right? And not only that, but if we go into Revelations, I think it's Revelation 16:5. The fourth angel poured out his bowl in the sun, and it is allowed to scorch people with fire. See, now this is, 10 chapters ahead? What does that mean right there? What? Now, see, oh man, it's just it's so weird because I know Revelations is a very, very controversial book, and you got to please take my words with a grain of salt, right? And, a lot of people don't really want to talk about it because there's a lot of controversies and all this stuff. But when I read that right there, the fourth angel poured out his bowl on the what? He says he poured his bowl on the sun, and it was allowed to scorch people with fire, right? So, and we read some Bible commentaries on this one, right? And they literally go into the thing of that the sun in the sky that we see is going to be, something's going to give it power, and it's going to allow to basically scorch men. It's going to scorch us, people, right? So how that happens, I don't, you can only assume, and maybe you can connect the dots. Maybe if you're, it's pretty obvious, I think personally, but some people may not find it so. Anyway, and hopefully, maybe we can learn something about the four living creatures, because if the four living creatures are from the Old Testament, from Ezekiel 1, they're literally, supposedly, the four creatures closest to God's throne. Imagine that. The creatures closest to God's throne are warning us in Revelations, in humanity, of things that may happen, or may actually probably going to happen, you read it for yourself, right? You think that, more people would want to talk about that, right? You think more people would be like, oh, you know what, maybe we should, maybe take heed to what the four living creatures may want of us, right? Now, what that is, I don't know. Maybe that, you can go into that, but what Revelation 6:6 says, it's that the four living creatures warn us not to damage the oil and the wine. So, yeah. So, is there, now, would that be weird? Okay, so now here's the strange thing, right? Here is the very, very strange thing. Now, I don't want to say some things would be considered sins, right? But imagine if God allotted something to where, he wanted people to not damage the oil, right? But now what happens if we do continue just keep damaging the oil? And we're just damaging the oil and just damaging it. But then what happens if people go, oh, well, they were talking about a different oil, right? What happens if that oil was actually the wrong oil, right? Or what if I'm wrong? Or what if they're wrong? Or what, in some cases I feel like maybe if that's why I think the writers, you think that they would have went in, oh, do not damage the olive oil. Do not damage the anointing oil. They just say, the four living creatures just flat out say, do not damage the oil. Oil itself, it's just, is that every single type of oil? I don't know. So that's the thing. But I do know that there is an eerie thing about the black horseman and how it represents famine, and how, what is a famine? A famine is a lacking of food and sustenance upon the lands, right? And that there's so many areas in our society, in our modern society right now, where they could not survive if they did not have oil. That we have to transport with oil food just to support some of these cities, right? It's just strange. And you think way back in the day, right? Where civilizations didn't really used to be like that, right? Civilization sprung up where food was grown. Where they could grow, but now it's just all we're just, I don't know, man, it's crazy. It's just so crazy to think about, and it goes a lot deeper. It goes so much deeper into all this stuff. I'm just kind of giving a baseline of what I think when I read some of these scriptures, right? And it's just strange, right? And I think what's also very, very eerie is about the four living creatures and about, the whole UFO thing. I mean, in most cases, I actually find it very intriguing, right? It'd be very interesting if the same thing that Ezekiel could potentially have been seeing is the same thing that we could maybe be seeing nowadays. How crazy is that, man? Is that crazy? Like, imagine the four living creatures at this very moment, are just observing humanity. Just observing humanity. And it'd be so weird if, like, the four living creatures are like, well, we said it, way back in the day. Where you guys are not going to listen, or like, what's going down? Like, okay, well, all right. Like, I wonder what they think. I wonder what the four living creatures, like, that's what I want. I wonder what the four living creatures think right now. Like, what do they think about humanity, right? I don't know, man, but there's like, that's a whole different subject right there. But I guess that was the Bible study. Very interesting one. And it goes, there's a lot of lore into that one, and we only just barely I feel like we barely even like touched on there. It goes, there's a lot of commentaries. Like, we only read like 3 commentaries or something like that, right? It seemed like there was like 50 commentaries we could have literally read, but we're trying to keep this to where we don't get burnt out. I feel like if we were to just read all 50 commentaries in one shot, boom, like I couldn't do it. I just get burnt out, right? So we're going to do a little bit, and I don't know. And to be honest, I think this is my own take on the matter of the four living creatures about do not damage the oil and stuff like that. I personally think that, maybe this is potentially a reason why maybe God's going to somehow use, like, the biking industry, skateboarding industry. He's going to maybe start propelling those things forward to maybe, do something about it. I mean, I even think about, strange. It'd be strange if Zero Skateboards made something like that, huh? I wonder what they think about that. I wonder what Jamie Thomas thinks about that. The four living creatures and the wheels, right? Imagine attaining just even a little bit of the spirit of the four living creatures, right? Man, we went into so much today. Like, there's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. We went into halos. We went into, what I think of halos per se, but, I've already looked up many commentaries on that, and I haven't found one yet. So the whole thing about halos and Ezekiel's wheels, is there any sort of correlation? I don't know. I personally think there is, because, when I think about circular objects, I think Ezekiel's wheels is actually the only thing that really comes forward. That's just the other weird thing, man. Just thinking about that, dude. Like, just think about that. Like, Ezekiel seeing wheels up in the sky, man. Like, that's just so odd, right? Because even when it was written back in the time, I mean, yeah, they could maybe make like a wooden wheel. Like, there's actually a wooden wheel right here. Like, what is there, just some dude just throwing discs out in the sky? Just, it's like, what in the world, bro? It's like maybe they could have made a metal wheel and just thrown them up. But it's like, bro, like, there's something weird about that, right? And it's just so strange that I just find it very, very oddly eerie and mysterious that the very same, like, disc-shaped things are, somehow people are observing them, and I don't know, man. Take that as what you will, but it's very odd. I find it very interesting. Now, to get a close-up view of that, now that would be interesting, right? And you can only imagine if that happened way back in imagine if those same wheels that may be occurring right now, they came closer to Ezekiel to reveal some knowledge, right? Or something like that. And what if, like, you can only imagine thousands of years later, how much have they learned of just to stay away from humans and stuff like that, right? Just, they probably know, like, man. That is such a crazy thing to think about. I find it fun. I think that's a very interesting subject. To me personally, right? Especially because it's mentioned in Revelations. I think there's, that's another weird thing, right? It's just like, man, the four living creatures are mentioned in Revelations. Why don't more pastors talk about that, right? I don't know. I mean, maybe they really aren't that important, right? But I personally think they would be important if they're the closest things to God's throne. But it just seems like I never hear believers talking about it, right? It's like, I don't know. Huh. Maybe there's going to come a point where people are going to have to think about it. Maybe there might come a point in humanity where they're like, you know what? Maybe the four living creatures did warn us about something. Okay, let's do card draw. Let's do a card draw. Okay, let's do the card draw. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's try to put it. Oh, dude, that looks dope, bro. That looks awesome. Do 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 do. Welcome to the card draw of the day, and this is the card draw of the day. We got Sunblast Angel. Man, that card looks gnarly, huh? Sunblast Angel, interesting. Nicely done. Who did this one? Jason Chan. Well, everybody, hope you have a good day. Continue to keep learning and try your best and have fun. Holy moly, you got a rabbit mount. Huh. Oh yeah, I forgot. Man, it's so easy to just get so lost on the internet, dude. I literally almost got like lost in the scroll again. That's why I like streaming. It just gets me out of that. Okay, this is the first card of the day. Sunblast Angel. Man, that card looks awesome, huh? Amazing. Second card? Ooh, Elvish Visionary. Interesting. Elvish Visionary. This is the flavor text on this card. From a tiny sprout, the greatest trees grow and flourish. May the seeds of your mind be equally fruitful. We were just talking about the seed earlier today. That's funny. Sarah's Litzgary. Number 4. Ooh, Staff of the Wild Magus. This card reminds me of the Staff of Aaron that budded. Which I'm probably pretty sure that's probably where they got the inspiration of these types of staff to begin with, to be honest. All the artwork and stuff where you see like a staff budded like that with like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Call to serve. Huh. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Hoopah, hoopah. Okay, 1, 2. Selfless Exorcist. Selfless Exorcist. I love the art on that one. It's so well done. It's just so solid, dude. Christopher Moeller, dude, you did an amazing job on that thing, man. You could read that thumbnail for so far away. This is very solid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Ooh, sweet. Holy Strength. Okay, last card. Ooh, Bant Sureblade. The Paladin card. Bant Sureblade. Who did this one? Michael Cormack. Man, see, sometimes it chirps me out when I look at some of these artworks and I see the name of it. Like, Michael Cormack drew this card, right? And I know, like, I don't know, maybe some people get tripped out about the names that they have, right, in some degree, but, like, in some degree, like, I feel like Michael Cormack always does these crazy-looking knights, dude. And like I can't help but think, like I wonder if Michael Cormack, like when he was a kid, he saw like artwork of Michael, right? The Archangel Michael, and he saw all the knights and stuff. Because every time I see an artwork from Michael Cormack about an, doesn't that the knights just look so gnarly, bro? Like that straight up just looks like a vision, bro. Like that doesn't even look like a painting, dude. That almost looks like it's just like straight out like there's like a little portal or something. I know it sounds weird. Take that with a big grain of salt, but I'm just like, man, that thing looks crazy, bro. Like that just looks so gnarly, dude. Maybe I'm just tripping out, but man, that artwork is just. I mean, even if you just look at these two cards right here, you know, like you can really see the difference of the artwork level, right? Like that one. This one's from. This one doesn't even say the year. Oh, this one's from '93, bro. Holy Strength is from '93. This one is from 2009. This was done in 2009. It's crazy, huh? Man, that thing's gnarly looking. Anyway. I always get like stoked on these. Just seeing the artwork and stuff is just cool. It just like keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated in a strange way. I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty obvious why, right? Because it's like you get to see, like maybe not see, but you get to like just kind of view things in a different way. Whereas I see so many things of like where people tend to think of the faith very negatively, right? So that most people think when they think of like Christianity now, they think of like politics or just things or just, you know, how they got, you know, all these things, right? But me personally, when I think of like the faith, man, like the faith, like about God, about the Lord and stuff, I think about just you know, like, I don't know, man. Okay, man. Today's Bible study was pretty wild, huh? Wild. I'm gonna go get some coffee on a chai and I'll be back. We'll ride. let's see. This I'm never used to. I will say this London mod's a little sketchy. I think I need to put it. I actually might have to move it. I think I gotta move this London mod. Cause see how it's like bending up? Now the thing is if you had one of those old school things where it was welded on the frame, this is actually the one issue I'm having with the London mod. Is see how it's like right there, and see how like it's putting pressure on here and it's like bending it down? Well, there's actually only one little bolt holding this thing on. So I think I have to change this. I think I have to put this in there. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in there. Yeah.
You might want this out here.
Oh yeah. Let's see where to fix this thing. Maybe not the right onside there. Or is this Allen size? There we go. Let's see if we can fix this thing. I actually have to take this thing off. Let's see this. Actually, no, I guess I can't. I feel like I want to just weld this thing on there. Okay, let's take that thing off. Let's retighten this thing. Make sure that thing's nice and tight on there. Take this, push that down, and push it like this. I actually think that's going to work better. I think that's how we're supposed to do it. Put this thing back here. Darn. Huh, maybe I have to use a different bolt. This bolt will work. No, I guess not. Darn. This bolt. Nope. This one. Okay, there we go.
It's back where it was.
Really?
I went off like back down and it's back where it was. Huh.
It's kind of hard to work on. I didn't like find the right size to tighten the thing down. Sketch it right there. I guess what I could do is I could put two of them right there. That's probably what I should have done. Okay, that's gonna work better. So that means I have to pull all these things back then, darn. Okay. Yeah, that's this way.
see if we can land a combo today. What if I could actually do that one paint flat? Some people get into it like that. Get to work? Oh. Let's try pumping our tire up. Let's see what that does. Let's get like. Keep it going. It's harder to balance with this PSI.
I want to do that to another hang 5. I want to learn that. I wonder if increasing my PSI makes my fire hydrant better. Yeah, I want to learn the hang 10 no-hander to hang 5. But you can put that in a lot of combos. Hang 5, hang 10 no-hander, hang 5. That's probably what I should learn. Hang 10 no-hander squeaker. It's hard, bro. I don't know how you're doing it, Luke.
Man, I don't know how he holds it, bro. That's gnarly, dude. I literally don't know how he's like doing that. Bro, you go so slow, dude. How do you do that, bro? There's no way, dude. He's going so slow doing it. No worries, we'll just keep trying to learn it. Dude, Luke's freaking gnarly, bro. Like, he does it with ease, dude. What I don't get is how he's holding it, bro. Huh. I guess I just don't know the balance point. Maybe you have to stay over a little bit more. Dude, that is insane. How are you doing that? He also learned the Vader one. Vader to hang 5. Man, multiple whiplashes are really freaking hard. Just gotta practice this over and over and over again to get it. Cause I've seen people do like 5 whiplashes in here. It's a friggin' hard trick. My feet keep getting caught. Huh. That's such a weird trick. Let's see what they're doing. There's like dudes that'll just do this perpetually. They'll do like 10 of them. I can't even do 2. How do you guys do that? It's so weird. They make it look so easy. Let's see if I can still hang 5 like this. I haven't hang 5 like this in a long time. A long time. That's a hard trick, man. Okay, you guys are doing it. We can try some back air no-handers. Let's try some of those. Let's film this just in case we land it. I don't know, maybe the back wheel stuff's just not for me, man. I mean the front wheel stuff. Oh, these brakes keep. These springs, bro, they're not killing me anymore. I gotta find some other springs. These springs are not working on me. These things will work. I just bent them. Actually, I think they will work. I just bend these things. wish there was a way I could get this thing going. Gotta end it, right? I wouldn't be able to work. This ain't gonna fit on there. We could use that one. Sorry, I'm fixing my bike up right now. The spring's all messed up. Alright, let's see if these things work. I might just change the entire brake on it. Just totally use these ones. Wait a minute, no, I think I'm just gonna have to change out the spring. So much fun. Thing's shot, dude. It's donezo. Finally used up all that spring in there. Like my brakes broke right at the same time. we're looking for. Ain't gonna fit on there. I don't think it's gonna fit on there. Oh, you got a kid here. I'm gonna use this one then. I have to like mod it or something. Oh, that's weird. That's not good. I'm gonna have to mod this. I guess we can maybe just see if we can fit it. Oh, that'll work. Okie dokie. Bike's feeling janky lately. It's like both of my brakes have been just messing up on me. Hitting on something. go. Feels janky. Oh, this was not even like working right there. I don't know why I can't get that trick on lock, man. Super sketched out today. Planted that though. Oh man, I almost landed it. Fudge. It was like I haven't landed anything all day today. I've been practicing that one for a long time. Boomerang and a half to fakie, half decade to half hydra to decade. Okay, what if I do the other one without doing that one? I think I keep pushing my foot in the wrong area. Oh wait, that's what I gotta do. Still using this foot. Right? I think that's what they're doing. He doesn't even press. It's crazy. He doesn't even go by it. Dude, it's crazy. They don't even hit it. it. Bum it. We're really gonna try this. I think I've been messing up my footing on this foot. I've been putting one of my feet in the wrong area, like in the opposite area. So we're gonna go with that. And then go like, yeah, that's how you have to do it. I wonder if I should go more straight at it. Like that. It'd look cooler. It's on copyright. Still not on copyright. I think if I do it that way, I can land a double boomerang. I don't know if I should do it because I'm gonna like run into that, I think. I gotta figure out how to like do it most efficiently in here. Oh, dude. I think I'm close. I almost did it right there. See what that looks like. Oh my god, I'm about to land it, bro. Yep. I'm so close to landing it. This soundtrack's funny. I'm gonna find something. Oh, come on. Why is this trick hard, man? Should not be this hard. So we're doing like 2 jump offs. Oh. I need to not put my leg on that peg. That's what's messing me up. I'm gonna break it wrong time. Try that, and now we keep doing like weird decade combos, I guess. I guess actually let's try whiplashes, because I need to learn whiplashes. What about even just that into a half lash? Like that, and then just learning. Yeah, that's what I should learn, huh? cranks are really squeaky, huh? Why is my crank so squeaky? Dude, I haven't landed one single thing all day. Brutal. That's funny. That's my hand placement. I at least landed the turbine scenery. That was a sketchy turbine scenery, but let's see, what did this steamroller look like? Is that the only thing I've landed all day today? Yep. That's the only thing I've landed all day today so far. Today's brutal. Oh, I almost did it. Come on. The trick has just been elusive to me, man. Can't get it. Maybe I guess we could try. Well, I really want to land that one. It seems just so simple to land. Yet I can't. I'm having such a hard time even getting into it. For a decade. I actually forgot there's a way to get into Crack Packer. I found that. Maybe some under practice. Maybe those will work out more today. Bro, some tricks just don't want to work today. It's weird. Come on. What am I going to do after this? Maybe the kickflip thing. I want to land it, so I'm not going to do varsity. I guess not. I landed the first part. Well, so it was another day, huh? I keep saying I'm going to do some sort of kickflip line, but that was the kickflip line I was kind of thinking, but my mind skipped out. I was supposed to and then kickflip. That was fun. I at least landed something, man. Man, today was just all brutal, dude. The first 2 hours, bro. Just a grind, bro. Just straight up grinding. Yep. Nice, Chris. I wonder why you, he marks his radiuses out. Maybe that's what I should do too. Woo! Sorry everybody for watching you. Just messing around. I'm gonna flat out say today's a grind day. Haven't really been able to land too much stuff today. Darn, I messed up the timing. I had to wait right there. Ran the wall. Ran out of room. Hippa. That's weird. What a weird song, man. Come on. Let's crack packer. How do you even learn that? How in the world do you do? I saw someone do this one. Imagine doing that. How crazy would that be, bro? Man, those ones are hard, dude. That's a hard trick, dude. Crack packers are gnarly. I don't even know like how you even really like start learning it. How do you even like? I mean, can you just do it from a steamroller? You just go into a steamroller and then just switch your legs up in here. That is a hard trick, bro. I give credit to those. I don't even know if there's even a freaking how-to on how to do that one. Let's see if we can do 7 no-handers. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, darn it. Messed up. Oh, there's the, you know what I was practicing? I was practicing the fire hydrant to front yard. That's a cool looking trick. People, it seems like people don't do front yards anymore that much. Oh my god. Here, wait up. You gotta time it right. Oh my god, that's hard. How do you even do that one? I wonder how they go in a circle. I just gotta learn the front yard, but I want to do a tail whip into it. Oh my god, that's scary. I almost did it right there. You just gotta like keep it going. Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, I just broke my bike. What the heck? It like fell off. What in the... My bike's like perpetually just messing up on me. It's like I fix one thing and then something else just starts breaking on me. All fixed. Oh yeah, what are we gonna do? Let's do the steamroller line. We might be able to land the steamroller. Darn it. Oh, I got it. I did it. I was doing it pretty good last week. I learned it last week. Oh, it's just like getting out, it's hard. So, steamroller back to half hydrant, track stand. No, I messed it up. All of that, dude, that one was perfect. Ah, man. Alright, what are we gonna do? Let's do a. We're giving up on that one. It's frustrating. We're gonna do a multi hang 5 line. Oh, I just broke my brakes. Bro, man, my bike's just falling apart on me. It's like something just keeps moving on me. Keeps like de-adjusting. Yay! Ah, the darn boomerang. Oh well, what landed that? I'm not even take that. I want a sketchy. I like did a correction hop. Man, the boomerangs always take me out. The darn boomerangs, man. Every time, man. That's why I do that trick last. I just know I don't really learn that trick that often. Oh my god, I almost fucked her. No, no, no. That was so close. Oh my goodness. You guys like keep taking the wrong angle. I gotta like carve it in more. Man, I'm like on it today. I just want to land stuff. I ain't landing anything. Oh well. Let's do turbine steamroller. I did land this earlier, but I landed it sketchy. No! That was it. That one was so clean, bro. Oh my goodness. I messed up one little leg pump and it messed me up. No, fudge. Ah. I like ran out of speed. Oh my goodness, bro. So close to landing it. I want to do a 2-circle one. No! Dude, that is such a weird trick. Like every one, it feels like it's different. Like some of them, like I feel like ah. And then some of them are like right here. And then some of them are like right here. It's so weird. And then some of them might go fakey. Odd. Trick's weird. Makes no sense to me. Oh my god. Ah! Why can't I hold it? What's wrong with me? There's people that can hold it like for like 20 feet. I can't even do it for a foot. Come on, bro. It's so weird. Like if you put like your weight on this side or this side, it messes you all up. Like you gotta be on it. Like exact. Oh, that was it right there. I think that was it. Come on, bro. It's like I'm either on this side or this side. I feel like I'm just on a big plateau on that trick. I'm not improving at all. I've been stuck on that same thing for like months. Let's just do a kickflip one. That's probably the most kickflips I've ever done. Kickflip, kickflip, kickflip. I'm tired now. The chariot or hand crank flip was sketchy, but we did it. Oh, that tired me out right there. Ooh. Man, that's what sucks about flatland. It's like sometimes it's just like you want it. If I could, I would make everything smooth, right? Just like boom, boom. But there's some times where I just have to do that correction hop, bro. Oh, the correction hop is just like, I don't know why. Well, I know why I do the correction hop, but like, it's because like I start leaning on one side or the other, and I do a correction hop to just land it, right? I need to stop doing the correction hop, bro. It's just so innately in tune to my mind now. It's such a bad habit. Oh well. Okay, well, I think that was the end of the stream. I'm tired. I honestly haven't even drinking any water today. I'm going to be feeling it. We might do a WoW stream. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what the Bible verse. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Psalms 18, verse 2. This is a good soundtrack. Hopefully it's not on copyright. It probably is, darn it. Okay, well, peace out, everybody. You know what it be. Team
Elohim.
Farewell. I do a WoW stream. See you guys. Gals, farewell.